about DFS from yesterday. It went well. I'm not mad about it. Wasn't pretty, but we got there. And now we've got the YouTube peeps slowly sneaking in. NBA Strategy Show presented by Super Draft. I am Josh Engelman. Below me is Dave Loughran. It is a 7-game slate, I believe. Laffy's, I don't know, apparently Laffy is not interested in sticking around for this one. He's just gone. I can only imagine where this is going. Later, dude. I'll keep going with my spiel. Shouts to Super Draft for being the presenting sponsor. Shouts to one of my least favorite players, Trae Young, doing the business last night. 72.2 FanDuel points. 9 of 22 from the field. 18 of 20 from the line, which is the 4th game out of his last 5 that he shot in double-digit free throws. Just something else. 18 dimes. That's 5 straight games north of 13 assists. Whew. Trae Young is on one as of late. 39 legit points. 39 and 18. Embiid stunk. Sixers stunk. Don't get me started. It's not awesome, guys. It's not awesome. Just not awesome. Devontae Graham salvaged, I guess, 34.6. What do we got going on here?
What's up, bro?
I hate you.
How we feeling?
I'm feeling like I'm going to be rocking a really uncomfortable mustache in a couple weeks.
I thought I'd wear this for you, and I thought maybe I'd add another stipulation, which, you know, just to make things a little bit more fun.
I mean,
I'm
not willing to give up anything else in this at this point.
This gets even better. When you lose this bet with your mustache, you must wear this custom made for Josh Engelman ketchup and eggs awesome t-shirt. What do you say?
Show me that again. Okay, so perfect.
It's got Awesemo logo in cat soup. Little bacon on there. Yeah, Awesemo.com.
I'll happily wear that. That looks like hot sauce to me.
There you go. You know what?
That's
you
a perfect hot sauce and egg shirt.
You could do it. There you go.
That's a hot sauce and egg shirt.
We'll give a few of these away as well on Monday. So
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. I had them custom made for you.
Amazing. Oh, that stings, guys. That one stings. I don't know what, like, God, the Sixers dropping road games to the Hawks, not awesome. Ketchup and egg shirts branded for our website, not awesome. Nothing is coming up Josh today. Nothing is coming up Josh.
Tim D says, I want one. Where Giggity says, are those for sale? Yeah, they are, but also we're going to give some away. I think we'll give 4 or 5 of these away. So Josh and I for Monday, we'll think of a way. We'll think of a way to give them away. But yeah, we're going to give some of them away to our wonderful viewers. So
yeah, I do want to point this out. If and when I lose that bet, I'm going to do it probably immediately so that I can grow my beard back in a little bit easier.
Oh, you have? Well, don't you have a wedding coming up or something?
It's in May, so I want to get the mustache out of the way as early as possible.
Okay, gotcha. I hope for some odd reason
it goes to the last day.
I hope it just doesn't grow. Like once you shave it, I hope it just you have real trouble growing your facial hair back because you've shocked your system.
Oh, I don't care about that. I don't mind if I never have the beard again. I would mind only having the mustache permanently.
Hey, why the sudden decision to shave your face? Fucking Sixers.
Yep, exactly, guys. Exactly. The worst part in all of this now is that I know that you wouldn't say that Joel Embiid is the best offensive center in basketball.
Well, I bet Jokic to have to triple double and win. Parlayed that at like plus. It's like a game parlay. You can't actually do them or separately, but it was plus 800, plus 850 for a Jokic triple double and the Nuggets win. And he decided that he had no interest in rebounding yesterday. He had 28 points, double-digit assists, and 4 rebounds.
Yeah, it's craziness.
4.
It's craziness. I got him pulled up here. Finished with 53.8. 28 and 10. Not the 10. Well, I mean, he is like a point guard at center at this point. You know who's actually having the best offensive season as a center? Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, when he's on the floor, because he missed a lot of games, but yeah, he's been great.
His efficiency has been craziness this season.
No question.
For a terrible team.
Andrew Boudreaux says, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, fella. Can we get a shirt with just Josh's mustache on it? There's no doubt we will be making it. Now, if I lose, I'm game, right? But there's no doubt there will be a Josh mustache shirt. I think you just know that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
We have the swags or the merch store too. So
yeah,
I don't know what it is, but like I said, we'll give some away. We'll have some fun with it for sure.
Hey, at least I can get a hot sauce and eggs shirt.
You know what? I think you'd rock this, right? Look. This is a pretty cool Awesemo shirt. Whenever you can get the Awesemo logo in ketchup, right? The
only problem is that does not look like eggs. That looks exactly like the color the food looks after my dog pukes it back up. That looks like puked up dry food with blood in it.
That blood looks like the Awesemo logo.
Yeah.
Someone said in chat though, they said it's not just a shirt, it's a conversation starter.
It is.
You know what? I agree.
It is. 72.2 fantasy points out of Trae Young is also a conversation starter.
How'd Donnie Mitchell do?
I'm scrolling.
Oh no, I know.
I don't know.
It was the worst game of his career.
Really?
He had 0 points like halfway through the third quarter.
I still can't find him. Where the hell is he?
I think he shot 1 for 12.
That's the reverse order. Donovan Mitchell finished. I don't know these games that start at 10. 18 fantasy points, 1 for 12 from the field, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 turnovers, 4 real points. That's the second time he's had 4 real points this year.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But he only played 22 minutes against Charlotte on January 10th.
Sir Dave, in response to the eggs look like puke, says, kind of looks like Philly on the road.
Touche.
Yeah, Mitchell, rough game though, for sure. And I said it yesterday on the deeper dive, but Utah, I know it's not a large stretch of games, but they're struggling lately, man. They're losing to teams that have none of their players.
Yeah. 3 straight after being on a heater.
Yeah. I mean, they lost to Houston in Utah and they got blown out. That game didn't look as it didn't look as much of a blowout at the end, but that was an 18-point game with 4 minutes left, and there was no Harden, Westbrook, or Capella.
Yeah.
And then yesterday they lost to the Nuggets without Murray, Harris, and Millsap.
It's bad, man. It's bad. They need the All-Star break. Need to chill a little bit. You know who didn't chill last night? Dwayne Dedmon, Shake Milton, or Jordan Clarkson.
Shake Milton, baby. He didn't do enough, though.
No, he didn't. 44 fantasy points, 7 of 12 from the field, 27 real points. Dwayne Dedmon played 31 minutes, went for 11 and 11 with 4 steals and 3 blocks.
Wow.
Jordan Clarkson had 37 real points, 7 for 12 from 3 in 31 minutes.
Clarkson lit it up, dude.
Oh,
he actually played pretty well since coming to Utah.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know what you're getting out of him.
Yeah. Remember I told you they were showcasing him?
And that's the perfect team for him because he's terrible defensively. But if you're just getting beat and funneling it to Gobert, that's going to work for you.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I can't. Dude, these Sixers are so bad on the road, man.
Dude, you gave them way too much credit.
To be fair, and I think you would probably agree with me on this, I was the favorite the day that we made that bet. Like, jokes aside, if we were taking like betting lines and stuff,
Yeah,
I would have likely
because
been the favorite for them to be greater than 500 on the road.
Because we did at that point and on, not on the season.
Right.
But like I said, I was calculated though, because if they had a losing record on the road, I get to look at you in a stash. If they win, I'm a Sixers fan. So, it is what it is. But I had watched every Sixers game. And look, I can't watch every NBA game. I try and watch as much as I can. As far as the Sixers go, I've watched pretty much every game. I don't know what it is. On the road, they have been disastrous. I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
It's not great. Winning lineup on FanDuel yesterday in the $7.77 shot machine. Shake Milton, Trae Young, Bradley Beal, D'Angelo Russell, Tobias Harris, Gordon Hayward, Serge Ibaka, John Collins, Dwayne Dedmon. The second place lineup, Giant Squid, Simmons, Young, Beal, Clarkson, Harris, Hayward, Ibaka, Porter, Bryant, is the exact same lineup that I had yesterday. And I was not in this contest for the first time in a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So I would have chopped second. It is, however, in the quarter. So, yeah.
And the problem is, you can't think of it that way because it'll drive you nuts. It just it's the what ifs in DFS will ruin your life.
Oh yeah, this one's low on the totem pole for me. Yeah, but not fun. Not fun. It's a sad day. Sixers lost. Trae Young was really good. Might as well have just wore the stupid eggs and hot sauce shirt while he played, just to spite me.
That ain't hot sauce, fella.
Looks like hot sauce to me. I mean, those eggs with the hot sauce on it, the picture that I took while I was in San Francisco looks exactly like that plate. Covered in bacon.
Well, hold on. You forgot to even take a picture and tweeted as if you were showing everybody an image of hot sauce on eggs with no picture at all.
Look, man, I was in San Francisco. I had an edible before I ate that breakfast. What do you want out of me, man?
You go, this is what your eggs should look like. And there's no picture at all.
I posted the picture eventually once I realized the error of my ways.
You literally posted a picture 12 hours later when someone said, I feel like a picture should come with this tweet.
Yes, that's exactly what. Otherwise I didn't know. That's what happens when you eat snickerdoodle pot cookies at 6 o'clock in the morning in San Francisco. What do you want out of me, man?
I don't know, man. I like it just the way you are, bro. It's entertaining. I'll tell you that much.
Unbelievable. So shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers for being a dumpster fire and for likely costing me a beard. Might as well at least like half promote it right now. I'm going to grab the data for the rest of the season to see what my true odds are of coming back to win this bet. So we're going to talk about that Monday on the strategy show.
What do you think they are? 15, 20%?
I don't even know. It might be lower than that. I don't really know even where I stand. It just feels like they lose every road game. So.
Oh yeah. I mean, they were 7-point favorites.
Yeah. This is like, that was one of them that was supposed to be just in the bag.
Yeah.
They gacked that Toronto one away. That one sucked.
Hawks money line over here, dude.
That's fair. That's a smart bet against me, man.
Honestly, the Sixers. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't, because they are I know a lot of times we don't like buying into the home and road splits and stuff, but they are an entirely different team on the road. It's actually like inexplicable when you look at. And it's not like they only play good teams on the road. That is not the case. They've lost to Orlando twice on the road. They lost to Atlanta. They lost to a lot. They are on the road this year, Josh, 9-16. They're 22-2 at home. That's insane.
I don't have anything to say to that. I really don't. It's breaking me, man. It's not even about the mustache. I just hate being wrong.
Oh, I mean, no one likes being wrong. This one just has repercussions.
Yeah, this one just stings more. It feels like the universe is against me.
I feel like that sometimes too.
Unbelievable. Well, guys, you should play at Super Draft. Superdraft.io. Use the promo code AWESEMO. Get yourself $20 in super cash on your first $100 deposit. Chris Spags and I will be going the extra half hour, taking you up to the Super Draft lock at 7:30 tonight. But it's a site where you can play without salaries. You can roster anybody you want. They've got a multiplier system. Really opens it up. I did office hours on Monday where we dug into the scoring and sort of what kind of goals you're looking for to try to win a tournament. We've been doing extended shows Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They've got the $17,500 jump shot tonight, $3,500 to first. It's really just a fun mechanism to play. I highly recommend you guys check it out. Link has been dropped into chat, but Chris Spags and I will be talking about it in depth. We'll be talking about it in depth throughout the day, but Chris Spags and I will be talking about it in depth from 7 o'clock to 7:30 as we lead up to their lock. We want that contest to fill for sure. Also, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. We got a lot to plug coming up at the midway point of this show, so stay tuned. Also, Super Draft projections are free for today if you want to check them out. That will give you a little bit of extra ammo when you get into those contests.
Nick Nelson says Laffy should mute Josh's read to make him redo it like he did yesterday. That was not, that's funny, but that was not on Josh. At least I don't think. And thank you, Mr. BMO, for the super chat. Way to go, Sixers. He says, coming soon, Josh the Creeper Engelman. I won't read that one, but porn star stash. It should be a good time.
Yeah, I don't get the sense that I could be a star in pornography.
Hey, dude, I've seen wild stuff. I want to promote one more thing, and then we'll jump into this.
Okay.
One more thing, and then we'll jump into this. Yeah, we'll stop that there. We're doing a monster Super Bowl DFS sports betting extravaganza show today at 12 noon. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be multiple hours long. It's going to be Ben Ross and myself. It's going to be Josh coming in, talking props with us, novelty props. We got some wild ones. I promise you will enjoy that segment, if nothing else. We've got Alex Baker breaking it down from a DFS perspective. Our boy Chris Spags, Sal Vetri is going to join us. Most of the NFL cast for Awesemo. Jordan Frank from the Sports Betting Show. We got it all today. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'll be behind the virtual glass for a bit of it, and then I'm hopping on to talk the ridiculous props that have absolutely nothing to do with football, like Gatorade color and national anthem bets and stuff.
It's going to be fun.
I'm pumped. Yeah, I'm definitely pumped. So that's coming up at noon. Laffy and I might still be on at that point.
Right. There was one prop bet that was, will any player be arrested in Miami after the game?
Yes. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
It's in Miami, not Minneapolis.
That's true.
What's
Brad Schrader?
What is it? What's the line? Do you know it off the top of your head?
I think it's like plus 1,500 no. So then you must like that.
Plus 1,500 no?
No, yeah.
So yes is like minus something ridiculous?
Probably like, yeah, mine. Oh, I'm sorry. Plus 1,500. Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was like, no, I don't like that. That sounds like a terrible bet. Yeah. I mean, what does arrest entail? Like, is it like Odell Beckham, like spanking a girl at the national championship game or whatever he did?
Arrested's arrested, man.
Yeah. How long do the charges get dropped? Do I lose the bet? I'm intrigued.
Right.
Preview of the show for today, guys.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
It is. We will. That's something we may or may not get into.
Brad Schrader asked if we have a link to the show.
Yes.
Follow us on Twitter, first of all, at Laffy_D, at Josh Engelman. Our Twitter handles are right above our names. Best decision you ever make. Yeah. We'll put the links in there. At the Awesemo handle, it'll be there. It'll, or if you just go to the YouTube Awesemo channel, it'll be live.
It's in chat now. So thanks to Brett or whoever is manning the
thanks,
chat
man.
right now. But yeah, if you go to our channel, every morning, if you want to know what we're doing on YouTube for that day, if you head to our YouTube channel, everything is preloaded for the day. All right, do we want to actually talk about today's slate? We got a 7-gamer.
Let's do it.
Yeah, great. At least Philly doesn't play on the road. Somebody just mentioned their next one is at Boston this weekend. So
yes, sir. Sure is.
That'll be a blast. I might just have to go to Boston for the weekend to, like, I don't know, Tanya Harding, Jason Tatum, or Kemba Walker or something.
Yeah. Put a banana peel down.
Or just at least put a lot of, like, X-Lax in their hotel food.
Yeah, not like pull the Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, weird. Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Gordon Hayward are all out with the poops.
Yeah. They'll be starting Carson Edwards alongside
Taco Fall.
Williams, Taco Fall, Brad Wanamaker.
Sixers will still lose.
100%.
All right, let's do this. Let's dive in. Make a note of this. 21 minutes and 25 seconds is when we actually got into this. I'll put a note in YouTube so people can skip that if they want to.
Why would anyone want to skip that?
I have no idea. I guess people come here for a different thing other than you and I rambling.
Yeah, I guess. But I think by this point, they have to know. They have to know what it's about.
Yeah. The Daily Fantasy Sweat. Josh, can you not get comfortable? Nah, man, I'm a fidgeter. Chair's super comfortable, but I've had like 40 something ounces of coffee at this point. I feel like Tweak in South Park. And the air is really dry, so I feel like itchy. I really do feel like I'm addicted to the drugs that make you not great, but I'm not, even though they're fun.
I fidget too, but because I'm cropped differently, it's kind of more difficult to notice. I do it all the time.
Oh, dude, I'm constantly moving and like scratching my. I can't.
Me too.
It's weird.
Can't help it.
Anyway, like I said, 22 minutes and 30 seconds is when we start. Detroit Pistons, Toronto Raptors. Raptors on the back-to-back 4-point favorites in Detroit. We'll start on the Pistons side, where I think this is largely easy. I have Andre Drummond as my fourth best center on FanDuel, 9,600. I don't have much to say there. And after that, I don't know. Reggie Jackson, I don't expect to continue to play at a 1.34 FanDuel point per minute rate since he's been back. He's 4,800 on DK. I think that might be viable, but I am not interested in getting to anything from the Pistons on DraftKings.
Yeah. So this game, much like yesterday's game, and yesterday's game between the Raptors and Cleveland actually had, a few interesting pieces after the fact. But Toronto is a good basketball team that even on the road, even on a back-to-back, even without Gasol, still concerns me. I'll say this much, though. I was surprised to see this open at only 4 points. Toronto is 4-point favorites. I thought it would be more than that. And it wasn't, which is, fine. But Serge Ibaka is still a stalwart defensively, even if Marcus Gasol isn't there.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm projecting Marcus Gasol out. I don't know what you're doing with
I did
him.
the same. It was just supposed to be like hamstring tightness, so I don't think it's out of the realm that he plays. They didn't submit an injury report last night because they're on the back-to-back, so we won't know officially until 1:30 unless just news comes out. I'm treating him like he's out, which makes Ibaka obviously different for today. But otherwise, if he's in, you just don't play Serge Ibaka then.
Yeah, I mean, he missed 12 games earlier this season because of a hamstring injury. I'm assuming these are unrelated, but 2 games in a row, you've got Detroit. I think he probably sits, but like, as I'm saying, could be wrong. It's still early. That's how I've got it right now. As far as Detroit goes, though, I guess the one guy that we could talk about here, Reggie Jackson, has played phenomenal basketball since returning to the rotation. And his last 3 games, 23, 25, and then 26 minutes with Derrick Rose in the rotation. So 26 minutes from Reggie Jackson. His usage rate has been really high. I wish he was playing a few more minutes, but I wouldn't be surprised if this game is close, and Vegas has it close. I wouldn't be surprised if Jackson comes in and plays 28 minutes today. At that price tag, I don't hate it. So far, 27% usage rate, 32% assist rate. Those are solid enough numbers for me.
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how he's gonna I have him as a 1 fantasy point per minute guy. He's at 1.34 since he's been back.
Yeah, it's not sustainable, but I also think you could start getting more minutes from him.
Yeah, I gave him 25. I just don't really know what to do with him here because I mean, is he in a closing lineup?
Yes, I think so.
I might be a little light on him, but ultimately, even if I give him 26 or 27, I don't get the sense that I'm going to win a lot against Toronto.
Yeah, it's possible. Listen, he closed last game. It wasn't all that competitive, but Drummond and Rose also closed that game out. So, yeah, I have Reggie Jackson closing, which means I don't think it'd be that tough to give him like 2 more minutes, get him to 28.
I agree. Also, quick shout to Shane46111. Just wanted to say thanks for the super draft info, guys. Placed 7th in the $12 last night. Awesome, dude. He said also, Lafayette, I should have just stuck with Bryant last night. Keep up the good work and thank you. So, congrats, man. Congrats, Shane.
Congrats, dude.
Appreciate those super
thanks
chats.
as always. Stuck with what? What was he saying? Oh,
Thomas Bryant.
With Thomas Bryant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, that was that's a tough call. You don't know what Scott Brooks is going to do there,
No.
and you drop him out of the starting lineup. You don't know if Pasechniks is going to play. You don't know if Bryant's only going to play backup center minutes and Mahimi plays another 28. It's a tough one. I wouldn't kick yourself over that because there's really nothing we could have said or you could have done to have an idea of what you were going to get from him.
I don't have anything else for the Pistons here.
No, like I said, Reggie Jackson is cheap enough to where I'm willing to give him a look, but certainly no priorities on the Pistons. And if anyone's wondering why I don't love Drummond today, first of all, the matchup isn't great. Second of all, on DraftKings and on FanDuel, there are so many good guys in that 9 and 10K range that Drummond's probably like 6th in that range out of maybe 7.
Yeah, I have Drummond 34th on DK today. So
right.
And that's not he looks okay. Just not for me. Lots on Toronto that is for me, however, including the very obvious Serge Ibaka, $5,700 power forward on FanDuel. Made the contenders today. You should have a lot of him. I think Fred VanVleet looks pretty tasty at 7K on FanDuel as well, although he is only my 5th ranked point guard. Nope, 5th ranked shooting guard, obviously. You can get a little bit of Kyle Lowry. I think that's fine. You can get a little bit of Pascal Siakam. I think that's fine. I don't love their prices on DraftKings, though. It's a good spot, but there are some really crazy good DFS spots to come. I don't know if Pistons Raptors is that scenario. These guys are much more of FanDuel plays than they are DK plays today.
Yeah, I would agree with that. DraftKings, I say this, we both say this a lot. They do a lot of preemptive pricing when it comes to guys being injured and actually having notice on that. So if Gasol is out, Serge Ibaka 6,900. That's a little bit more difficult to get to than 57 at power forward on FanDuel. That to me is just remarkably cheap for a guy that I would think probably plays anywhere between 32 and 34 minutes. Played 33 minutes yesterday, and like I said, they're only favored by 4.5 points. Second of a back-to-back on the road. I think Gasol does sit, which is going to open a lot more up. The issue, though, on DraftKings, since you touched on FanDuel, is these guys are still at a price where there's a lot of mouths to feed still. And Marc Gasol being out of the lineup isn't going to free up usage. It's actually going to hurt these guys more because Serge Ibaka is somebody that has some offensive abilities, whereas Marc Gasol's has disappeared. So I think it actually does worse for the rotation or for the starting lineup, which makes it harder for me to get to these guys at 7K and up.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I have Lowry as my 8th point guard, VanVleet 5th shooting guard. I'll have 10 to 15% of those guys. Nothing too crazy on a 7-gamer, but Ibaka is the clear number 1 option on FanDuel. When you can get a $5,700 power forward that's going to play 30 plus minutes, I'm in.
I agree. Yeah.
$23 for Ibaka on Yahoo, also pretty nice. Check him out. He's on my contenders list. Video posted earlier. To Brooklyn we go. Brooklyn Nets, Chicago Bulls, Nets 5.5 point favorites over the Bulls. Bulls with the tied for the lowest implied total on the slate. I have one guy and one guy only coming from the Nets. That is Kyrie Irving, 8,900 on FanDuel, 9K on DK, and even then, he's my 6th ranked point guard. Bulls defense is passable. It's just average in general. It's not really like a big pace up spot or anything. 112.5 implied total is pedestrian for this slate. I'll take my chances on Kyrie, but otherwise, I don't need Jared Allen if DeAndre Jordan's in. I don't need Spencer Dinwiddie at these prices now that Kyrie is back. It seems like Karis LeVert is locked into 22 minutes, so I can't really go there. This is just Irving.
Karis LeVert's been one of the more disappointing players of the season. I don't think we expected like huge production from him, but since he got healthy, since he returned, he's been a colossal disappointment. I mean, I don't know if we've gotten one game from him that you could feel confident with.
No.
It's tough to get there, and there should be some value here. So I don't think I don't think really anybody here is all that compelling. Does Joe Harris play 32 minutes against Chicago? Probably. Probably. I guess you could do worse. DeAndre Jordan, I guess he's interesting on DraftKings just because he's really cheap. $4,300, 1.23 DraftKings points per minute this season. So if he does have one of these games where Atkinson gives him 24 minutes, I don't see it being impossible that he can put up productive numbers against, a Luke Cornett, Daniel Gafford if he plays. Actually, no, he's doubtful now.
Yeah.
So Luke Cornett, front court, center position, alongside Thad Young. I think you probably should get solid minutes, or if he's out there against Felicio, then the same applies. So I don't mind him. And then with Kyrie Irving, so I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get there with the amount of other players at the mid-range below him and at the high range above him that I really, really like. And I already feel like I'm probably going pretty heavy stars and scrubs. I think Irving is fine because his price tag isn't all that inflated, but he's not a top option for me. I have just too many guys I like in that range.
He's Andre Drummond from the Nets.
Exactly.
9K,
exactly.
Ranked in the mid-30s for me on DraftKings. I figure I end up with 5 to 10%, and it's whatever.
Exactly.
For the Bulls, that implied total is kind of rough, but I do like a little bit here. Zach LaVine, 8,300 on FanDuel, 8,500 on DK. He's playing monster minutes. He is the linchpin of the entire offense, whether that's good or bad. I like him here. He made my top 10 for today. I have him 3rd at shooting guard. I have him 6th overall on DraftKings right now. I just like him because of the volume. It's never going to be pretty, but he's going to shoot and shoot and shoot, and those are the kind of guys that I want to have in a GPP. His points per minute have been up in the past 30 days over what I would consider his baseline, so I can't ignore him. And then Thad Young just plays monster minutes, 5,200 and 5K, works as a guy in the mid-tier.
So I said the same thing on the early bird with Dan Strafford yesterday. Zach LaVine over the last 30 days is giving you a 33% usage rate, 20+% assist rate, and he's playing huge minutes in competitive games. So I like Zach LaVine. I also like that, his price has come down considerably from where it was just a few games ago, where he was like 9,800. That I'm not getting to ever on DraftKings. 8,300 on FanDuel. Beautiful. On DraftKings, you got him weighing in at what, 8,600, yep. 8,500.
85.
Yeah, those are both really solid price points. Brooklyn defensively is playing admirably, but they're not going to, it's still a beatable matchup for LaVine, and it's a pace up spot for him too against the top 10 paced squad.
Any interest in Thad Young or like Satoransky or Felicio? Felicio,
not
flat
really.
man.
Yeah, like with Thad Young, you pretty much know what you're getting with him. He played 35 minutes last game, but then he played 29 before that, then 35, then 29. I have him at 32, but I really don't know. And he's not really impressed much at all. He's been well under a fantasy point per minute even since taking over in the starting lineup, which makes sense because he's playing out there the majority of his minutes alongside Zach LaVine. You'd still think there'd be more to go around though, because Zach LaVine's only one player and there hasn't been. So Thad is okay, but there are a few guys I like more than him. We'll get to in a bit. The rest of Chicago, I don't find all that appealing. I think that's pretty much it for me. Satoransky is okay. Get 30 minutes from him. I don't have him. I have him as a decent value option, but not a priority either.
Okay. Circling back, we have ownership. Only LaVine getting love on FanDuel for the Bulls. LaVine, Young, and Satoransky all at 14% on DraftKings. Joe Harris at 15% on DK. I think that's just an early day value option. No one in double digits on FanDuel. And just going back to Pistons and Raptors, Drummond in double digits, low, about 10%. Derrick Rose at 12 on FanDuel. No ownership coming into Reggie Jackson. Bruce Brown at 10% on DK. I think that'll go away as well. Serge Ibaka at 55% on FanDuel. There is no surprise to me at all. Still getting to 15% on DraftKings, though, which, is fine. But nothing too crazy. The fact that Van Vliet is at 9%, Lowry's at 3%, and Siakam's at 5% on FanDuel, that is appealing to me. But we'll see where that ends up as we get closer to lock.
Yeah, there are a couple other guys we're going to talk about shortly that right now have some pretty low ownership that probably makes them more appealing on DraftKings than they would be otherwise. Some interesting ones here. It's early, we're going to get some updates throughout the day leading up to lock, but there are a couple here that'll make for good conversation points.
Yeah, these next two games that we're about to get into are the biggest DFS games for the day. So buckle up, everybody. We're going to be here a bit. Not that you didn't already know that when you saw that Laffy and I were on this show.
Yeah, you're just telling them now?
Yeah, sorry. Houston Rockets, Dallas Mavericks. The Rockets are 8.5-point favorites at home against Dallas. Dallas is going to be without Luka Doncic for today and for an undetermined amount of time. If I had to guess, it'd be through the All-Star break, but we shall see. We'll start on the Houston side, which is 2 guys for me and 2 guys only. James Harden, 10,100 on FanDuel, projected for 54% ownership. 10.6 on DK, where he's projected for 29. Russell Westbrook is 11.1 on FanDuel, 10.5 on DK, 1% owned on FanDuel, 5% on DraftKings. I guess I need to mention that Clint Capella is at 15% ownership. I have no interest there. Look, I love Harden. I would rather play him and him continue. This will sound dumb. I'd rather play him while he fails if people get away from him than be late to the party when he drops 90 fantasy points. But 54% owned on FanDuel today is a healthy number, although I completely understand where it's coming from. How do you want to hash out Harden and Westbrook?
I love how you just stated that because on the early bird, I mentioned to Dan that I'd rather catch the wave as it swells. I couldn't think of the word earlier, as the wave is building, than have it crash down on top of me and get on at the end.
Yeah. So
here's the thing, though. While I apply that same reasoning towards most players in DFS, a lot of times, it's not sustainable or this bad streak can't last that long. To me, there's something a little bit different about this one. And I'll come out and say now, I think James Harden at this price point, you keep playing him. But here's the thing. Russell Westbrook isn't just some scrub that has never produced monster, basically league leading fantasy totals. Sure, he's never played alongside Harden, but he hasn't played alongside Harden with Houston before, but he has played with Durant. Most of his seasons with Durant, he played with Paul George. None of them have the same usage, but here's my thing. Russell Westbrook is the type of guy that can continue to go out there and rack up monster fantasy totals. Since the start of January, he has a 37% usage rate, 40.5% assist rate, 12% rebound rate, 1.65 fantasy points per minute. Harden is at 35% usage, 31% assists, and 10% rebounding with 1.5 fantasy points per minute. If you stretch it out across the whole season and prorate it towards the end of the season, Harden's likely going to be better. But I don't think it's wise to sleep on Westbrook because we expect Harden to come back and usurp him as the top option in Houston. It'll probably happen, but it's not like, oh, Eric Gordon's been so good. I'm going to keep running out Eric Gordon. Russell Westbrook is the type of player that can continue to do this. And the biggest thing is his minutes have been huge lately, Josh. Yeah. He played 42 minutes in regulation last game, 39, 38, 38, 40, 42. That's huge.
Yeah, it's massive. I gave them both 36 because I wasn't really sure if I should go higher on a day where they're pretty sizable favorites against a team missing their best player. Normally, I'm just going to shave a minute or two in those scenarios. Not because I'm like projecting blowouts or whatever. They're just slightly less likely to play massive minutes. And 36 is still the upper bounds, all things considered. I mean, I like Russ a lot if he's 1% owned on FanDuel at 11-1, and James Harden is 54% owned.
No brainer.
But I like Harden more. That for sure. On DK, where they're really close, 29% to 5. If we knew that was true, again, I would rather go to Russ in a GPP than Harden. But I want both of these guys no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, so do I. But yeah, I'm just saying, and I think I mentioned this to you, or maybe it was to Adam, I don't know, before, like, if we would have seen this in November, we'd have been like, oh my God, James Harden, this isn't even close. You're just Harden, don't play Westbrook. But in a case like this, I just feel like we can't be so quick on the trigger to say, oh, okay, Westbrook way too expensive. Can't play a similar price for him. I think you can pay a similar price, and I don't have an issue with that. Yeah. And honestly, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm wondering if something's up with James Harden. Did you watch him against Portland?
Yeah, well, I mean, he has that thigh injury or whatever it is. That's clearly not helping. I don't know. Maybe he's been particularly enamored with the strip clubs as of late. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I think there might be something strange with him, something up. If that ownership if there's that big of a gap in ownership, I really like Russell Westbrook.
So do I. That I completely agree with. Like, the telling signs for Harden are 6 free throws and 6 free throws in the last 2 games that he's played.
It's very weird, right?
Yeah. Either way, I'm not going anywhere. What up, James? But for sure, Russell Westbrook, if he is 1/6 of the ownership, I'm in for that.
Yeah, I mean, no question. I think another thing too, when you mention those rebounds, first of all, his usage it's only 3 games, but his usage is way down over the past 3 games. I don't know if we should take anything away from that, or it's just, it's just a few outlier performances. But I had pulled up his drive rate over the past 3 games just to see what it looked like. And he's averaging, let's see how many drives per game. Because I'm wondering, is he not getting to the rim? Is he not he's averaging, here we go, 15.7 drives per game. Compare that to Westbrook, who's averaging 28 drives per game over that span. 28. Wow.
28. I mean, that's a lot per quarter.
It's crazy, right?
I mean, that's basically like every possession.
Yeah. What, that's 7 per quarter?
Right, yeah.
Harden averages 18.3 on the season per game. So I guess it's not a huge decline, but something just seems off.
Yeah, so if he is 54% owned on FanDuel, what do you think of that? That's too high to me. And I like him a lot. But if Zach LaVine, I don't see him and Zach LaVine as wildly different from a relative to salary perspective. And LaVine is getting half of that ownership. I'd rather just play a lot more Zach LaVine and have more Russell Westbrook at no ownership. That seems easy.
Wait, say that again?
So right now we have Zach LaVine at 27% ownership on FanDuel. Harden at 54%.
Uh-huh.
I would rather just play a lot less Harden, play a lot more LaVine to open up the ability to pay up for Russell Westbrook at 0.5% ownership.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Totally with you on that one. I mean, Westbrook's more expensive. I don't know, man. I just think if the ownership gap is massive.
I agree. That's something I'm going to be paying close attention to. Do you have any interest in Clint Capella? Because I think we can ignore the rest of the Rockets.
Not really. I say the same thing I said last night. I think on DraftKings, 7,800 is somewhat palatable. 72 on FanDuel, you could say the same thing, actually better. But I don't love Capella. There are a few guys at the center position that I really do like today.
I agree. He's 7th for me on FanDuel, so nothing crazy.
Sounds about right.
Now we got to get into it. Heading to Dallas. Again, no Luka. Pace up spot. Houston's defense hasn't been great as of late. We'll start with the chalk, and I think we'll be able to be pretty quick about it. 3,600 on FanDuel, 3,800 on DK, 7K fantasy draft, $10 Yahoo. Jalen Brunson is projected for 50% ownership on FanDuel, 59 on DK. I completely understand why it's happening. He ranked number 1 in contenders today. This is going to be likely the most obvious piece of chalk for the day. He opens up a lot for your lineups. There's not a ton of downside, in my opinion.
No, not at all. I'm actually looking something up here.
Cash game lock for sure.
So one thing we know is that Jalen Brunson in games that Doncic missed. I believe he missed 4 straight. There was one game where Brunson played 24. Yeah. In the other 3, he played 32 plus. Yeah. Okay. That's good enough for me, man.
Yep.
And he, by the way, he did start all 4 of those. So it's only 4 games, but we at least have an idea of what Carlisle's going to do. And it's tough to get an idea of what Rick Carlisle is going to do. You have to assume that Jalen Brunson gets the start here. At least I am. Brunson this season in 596 minutes with Doncic off the floor, 22% usage, 1.07 fantasy points per minute, and a 31% assist rate. Those are very solid numbers for this price point. Easily, far and away, the top value option on the slate. If Jalen Brunson destroys me today, by the way, I get it. He's going to be popular.
Yeah.
But if he destroys me, I'm willing to just take that because once again, there are so many high-priced guys that I love, and I'd much rather risk him as my 32-minute per game value option than have to go completely balanced and forego using another one of these top plays.
We are on the exact same page here. I don't think there's much to really say about Brunson. Now, the rest of the team is a little different. Only Porzingis in double digits on DK, but on FanDuel, Porzingis at 17%, Tim Hardaway Jr. at 26%. Hardaway Jr. made contenders today, by the way.
That's what I wanted to ask you about.
DeLon Wright at 17. Dorian Finney-Smith at 16. I like, on FanDuel, $4,300 Tim Hardaway. Lock it in. I mean, that's just no-brainer price tag. He is my number 1, whatever position he is on FanDuel. I have no idea off the top of my head. Small forward. Number 1 small forward with a bullet. So I'm going to be getting quite a bit there. 6K on DraftKings, I don't really need. But I think the guy that we need to talk about most is Kristaps Porzingis, because I have no idea how many minutes this guy is going to play. I gave him 26. He could certainly play 30, 32, whatever. I think he needs those 30 minutes to be really good. Right now, 6,400 on FanDuel works because of the position. I don't really need him for 6,800 on DraftKings unless I think he's playing more.
It's difficult. And then I'm going to ask you about Hardaway after, because that one's strange as well.
Yeah.
But Porzingis, 29% usage with no Doncic this season, 17% rebounding and 11% assists, 1.3 fantasy points per minute. Dan asked me, is this a situation where Doncic being out could actually hurt Porzingis from like a facilitating standpoint and opening things up? You've seen that happen. Like Wiggins without Towns was pretty disastrous. In this case, you just can't. No, because Doncic leads the team in rebound rate too. Yeah. He leads the team in usage and he leads the team in assists. So you're taking all of that off the floor. I mean, probably second to, he's up there with the guys that matter most, guys who miss games that matter most. Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, James Harden, LeBron James, right? Like there's 5 of them maybe that are massively significant.
Yeah. The massive usage guys.
Right. Trae Young, yes, but the rest of the team just disappoints every time, so it doesn't matter.
Except for when they play on the road against the Sixers.
At home against the Sixers.
Yeah. Sorry.
I think Porzingis is one of these guys where ownership probably stays below 10% on DraftKings. And if it does, then I'm interested because there's no reason he can't play 30 minutes. It's just they haven't needed to, and Carlisle has decided to give him a limited run. So tournament only for me. I don't trust his minutes. We could see another 25, 26, but it's also possible that with Doncic off the floor, if this game does stay competitive, not saying it will, but if it does, Porzingis is one of the reasons that it does and also gets more minutes. So risky for sure. I don't know what his minutes are going to be. I have him at 28, but could it be more? Yes, I absolutely think it could. Could it be less? Sure. But I think ownership should stay low on him too. The guy I wanted to ask you about is Hardaway because on FanDuel, you've got Tim Hardaway. They don't preemptively price these guys up at 4,300. On DraftKings, he's 6K, and I just don't see how I can get to that.
No, I would have 0. He's not even a part of my player pool on DK.
Yeah,
it's a tale of two salaries. 4,300, you could lock him in. He's probably a cash lock given that salary. Him and Brunson. You can't avoid that for 4,300.
Nope, not at all.
DeLon Wright, 4,200 on FanDuel, getting love. Dorian Finney-Smith, 4,100 on FanDuel, getting love. Seth Curry at 4,300, getting no love. Like, I'd rather have Curry than Wright if it's 17-3 in ownership, but for me, I'm going to be focused mostly on FanDuel, Porzingis, Hardaway, Brunson, and Wright. If Wright's ownership stays at 17, then I'll start sneaking some Seth Curry in. On DraftKings, it's just Brunson.
Yeah, DraftKings, Barton, maybe some Porzingis. That's pretty much it for me as well. Should be a really high-scoring game, though.
Yeah, you would think. 124 implied total for the Rockets, tops. 115 for the Mavs, even without Luka, still pretty good.
Yeah,
it is a pace-up spot for Dallas as well. It's going to be interesting with KP, man. It really is.
I know.
Because they don't care about an individual game. They're not going to just, like... They are way more invested in Kristaps Porzingis being able to play 3 more years and squeezing out 4 extra minutes on a road game when they're guaranteed to make the playoffs.
It's just a matter of whether or not Carlisle's comfortable playing him 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah, it is. All signs in their past couple games don't appear to be yes. We'll see what that means with Luka Doncic out. I'm going to be cautious about that one.
I'm with you. Like I said, if he comes in very low, 6,800 isn't crazy, but he's not. I know I've said it a lot. The phrase "he's not a priority" about a lot of guys on this slate, but Brunson is a priority for sure.
Yep, cash game lock. Don't even think twice. Clear across the board, every single site. We're not done yet talking big time DFS games. New Orleans Pelicans, Memphis Grizzlies. Pels 5-point favorites at home against Memphis. It's going to be a really fast-paced game. Memphis is going to be without Jaren Jackson Jr. for his role in Pushgate with Crowder and Marcus Morris and Elfrid Payton and the rest of those guys. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Did you see did you see people get freak out because Marcus Morris said those things about Jay Crowder after the game?
Playing like a woman out there or whatever.
You knew that was going to happen. Like
Sure.
you absolutely knew that
Yeah.
hell was about to rain down upon him.
Yeah.
But dude, I don't know. This whole it doesn't take a lot to get suspended these days.
No. I mean, for sure, Elfrid Payton probably deserves a game. You can't
think Jackson does?
I don't care, really. Elfrid Payton, no doubt. You just can't two-handed shove someone to the ground while they're shooting a corner three and then incite a riot.
Incite a riot.
I'm cool with that one. I have no problem with Jay Crowder shooting that three. If you don't like it, Knicks, don't suck.
Yeah, it's funny because Morris, when after the game, they're like, he's like, it's just not professional. It's a, he didn't say Bush League, but that's what he meant. I can't remember what the term was. And they're like, well, were you disappointed or were you pissed? Were you mad that he went for the steal? And he's like, no, the steal's fine. That's basketball. He's like, but the 3-pointer, like, hold on a second. So you're playing aggressively. You come in for a steal when the game is over. Get it. You're not mad about that.
Yeah.
You're mad about the 3. I don't know.
Jay Crowder's not doing that if the Knicks don't give up in that basketball game. If the Knicks are a 500 team and like that, they're just playing out the string in a 15-point game. Jay Crowder's not like stealing inbounds passes and stuff any longer.
Right.
But then the Knicks are an embarrassment. I don't hate it at all. I wish he would have yammed on somebody instead of shooting a corner 3, but whatever. Anyway, let's get to the Pels now. A lot of ownership coming in here, and I'm not as fond of New Orleans as the public is, so I'm anxious to get your take. Drew Holiday, 23% owned on FanDuel. Brandon Ingram, 19% on both sites. Zion is 44% owned on FanDuel, 28% on Draftkings. Not sure I like that. Derek Favors at 16% on both sites. What do you want to do with the Pels?
I don't think you should be excited to hear my take because it's not really any different than yours.
Ooh, I am excited. It always makes me feel good when other people think that my takes are smart.
Yeah, I mean, just like the Sixers.
Yeah.
But no, listen, I don't. The problem I have with the Pels is I don't know what to make of them right now. Like introducing Zion Williamson into this lineup into the rotation is a huge deal, and it's been really tough to gauge what you're going to see from him. Like for instance, last game, Zion didn't even have a big game, but Brandon Ingram only attempted 13 field goals. And, I know Drew Holiday went off with that huge game, but I don't know what to make here. And here's the big reason. So Zion came back on the 22nd, right? Yeah. So he came back on the 22nd. When you look at Ingram's performance with Zion on the floor, it's a little bit more concerning now because Zion's minutes are only going to increase. He's not going to start seeing fewer minutes. And in the 4 games that Ingram has played when Zion is on the floor, Ingram has a 21.9% usage rate, DraftKings points per minute 1.11, not terrible, but we've also seen something significant. That is his minutes. It looks like he's done playing 37, 38 minutes per game. Now that Zion's back, looks like he's going to be locked into this 32-minute role, maybe 34. That's concerning to me. Zion just makes a huge difference. And you look at usage across the lineup with Zion on the floor, assuming he plays, say, 32 minutes, he's seen an increase every single game. So you give him 32 minutes today, that's just more usage, more rebounding that's siphoned away from guys like Ingram and Drew Holiday and even Derek Favors.
It's a spot where I feel like people aren't really paying attention to price. They're paying attention to what people were doing when Zion Williamson was not playing and playing minimal minutes, just like you said. Like, do I like Drew Holiday? Absolutely. But he's 7,600. I need him to score 48 plus.
Right.
That's a tough sell. I need Lonzo to score
8,100 on
45.
FanDuel or DraftKings. 8,100 on DraftKings.
Like, I need 45 out of Zion at 6,500 on FanDuel. I need 50 for 7K. Like, those are big numbers.
Yeah. And, the big question is, is there enough to go around? Like Lonzo Ball, even, do we need at least some scoring opportunity from him to be viable at 7K, because he might just be, Elfrid Payton now with Zion here. Like,
what, pushing people in the chest?
Yeah, pushing people. But, you've got Ingram, you've got Holiday, you've got Lonzo, you've got Redick for the time that he's out there. You have a quality rebounder, low usage guy, but a good rebounder in Derek Favors. Is there enough to go around? And that's the big question here with Williamson back.
Yeah, like I expect someone to look really good for the Pelicans.
Yep.
I don't think one is but who, and two is that even good enough relative to their salary? Like I think the Pelicans are going to look really good on Super Draft.
Interesting.
Just a guess, but we're not dealing with guys having like priced up salaries here.
Right.
It's going to be a high scoring game. I'm expecting up and down. My issue is simply that I don't think that these guys are as good relative to where they're priced today. Not necessarily that I don't think that they are individually good plays, but salary is the main tenet for this.
Exactly. I said to Adam on Wednesday's deeper dive that there will be a point where Ingram and Lonzo's prices and all of them retreat back to an area where you're like, all right, well, now no one else is paying attention to them.
Right.
Because like you said, they'll probably get burned continuing to play them at their current prices. When those prices come down, I think that definitely is where you probably, not definitely, probably, this is where you definitely jump on. Right now, I don't think that's the appropriate spot.
Okay. Who would be your favorite Pelican?
All right, so I'm going to give it to you now, by the way. Lonzo is on Super Draft 1.4x. Zion is
not 2 anymore. He's 1. Zion's 1.6.
Zion's 1.6. Ingram's 1.3. Derek Favors is 1.55. Yeah. So, yeah.
Drew Holiday 1.35. I think he is my highest ranked Pel on
Yeah,
Super Draft.
That's pretty decent too.
Yeah.
You said who would be my favorite here?
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a little bit of site specific play
for sure,
because the prices are pretty different across the industry. I want to say Zion at 65, but I think it's probably Drew on FanDuel. But nobody I really love here, man. I can't. There's nobody that I'm in love with at any of the positions on New Orleans. On DraftKings, my favorite would be, dude, Ingram's usage with Zion on the floor is really low.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he's already 20% owned.
Yeah, right.
Not a lot to squeeze out of that one,
I don't know if I play anybody from. I mean, I'll have some, of course, but if it's like a 1 or 3 max, I don't think I get to anyone from New Orleans.
I agree. I'd be more likely to get to like 7K Lonzo at 3% ownership just to hope for the best, because I'm not chasing 28% Zion Williamson on DraftKings at 7K today.
That's the problem, is if these guys were low owned where they probably should be, at least I think on DraftKings, and it sounds like you do too. If they were low on like they should be on DraftKings, that's when you can really have some fun with it, because one of them, maybe two of them, as you said, probably going to have a really solid game. Right. But when you're getting 20% Ingram, 28% Zion, there's not a ton of meat on the bone there.
No. With
the ball being shared around. Like, you're really banking on one of these guys just getting really hot. And,
like Zion can score 40 DK points and people will be like, yo, Zion scored 40. You guys are dopes. And I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, I would happily not have that at 28% ownership.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not success. His individual score looks great. But if he's 28% owned and he scores 40, I made the right decision not being there.
Yep, absolutely.
Memphis, on the other hand, quite a bit different. I also missed that Marko Guduric is also suspended. So I had him in. I took those minutes back out. I don't know, John Conchar or something like that. I'll pick up a couple extra as well. Fast-paced game. Joe Val 7K on FanDuel, 6,300 on DraftKings, 28 on Yahoo. We have not seen a lot of situations with DK prices below FanDuel. He's at 35% ownership on FanDuel and 53 on DK. Look, I love Joe Val. He made the contenders. That's a really big number. And he's not even the chalkiest guy on his team. Brandon Clark, 34% owned on FanDuel, 56% on DK. I'm not there for those numbers.
That's crazy, man. I apologize for continuously going back and referencing the early bird, but it's fun to do so when you take an opinion from last night and now one when we get ownership. I had mentioned that I would happily, enthusiastically run out Brandon Clark and Jonas Valanciunas in the same lineup together.
Not anymore.
Right. Because I expect them to play similar minute, or I expect them to play alongside each other. We actually saw, I forget when it was earlier this season, but Jaren Jackson missed a game, and Taylor Jenkins started Clark alongside Valanciunas, I think. So let me ask you this, and I'll make a statement, pass it on you. In a vacuum, I love Brandon Clark and Jonas Valanciunas. Do you?
I love Jonas Valanciunas. I love Jonas Valanciunas.
As interested.
I mean, like, Brandon Clark's 9th for me on DraftKings. I don't want it to seem like it's anything other than that. But, like, I mean, he's just Brandon Clark. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's been very productive this season, but.
How many minutes do you think Brandon Clark plays?
28.
Okay.
1.13 DraftKings points per minute on the season. I mean, hey, he might play 30. He played 27 minutes last game. And Solomon Hill was subbing in, just so everyone's aware. Solomon Hill was subbed in for Jaren Jackson, was backing him up. But if you look towards the end of this game, I know it started to get a little bit out of hand, but Taylor Jenkins ran the starters up until the final 30 seconds, and Valanciunas was on the floor with Brandon Clark. So Brandon Clark was set to close that game out alongside Valanciunas, Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks, and Jay Crowder. Or
Probably.
No, I don't know. But yeah, you get the point.
Yeah, I like him. I don't like him anywhere even remotely close to 56%.
Well, that's the problem.
I don't like him anywhere remotely close to 34% on FanDuel either.
Oh man, it's tough. It's a shame. I mean, this game has it opened at 241.5.
Yeah. Here's a question for you. Would you rather have Brandon? This is FanDuel question. Would you rather have Brandon Clark at 5,200 or Thad Young?
Brandon Clark for sure. I know that might be unpopular, but I feel like the one difference between the two is you could probably answer this better. Do you have the ceiling with Thad Young?
I think so.
Yeah.
Here, does this change your mind? 33% ownership to Brandon Clark, 3 to Thad Young.
Yeah, it does. And that's why I'm saying, in a vacuum, this decision is a whole lot easier to make.
I can't take him over Serge Ibaka. That would be craziness to me. That's chalk I love. If Kristaps Porzingis is 17% owned, that's half of Brandon Clark. I'd rather roll those dice. And if Anthony Davis plays, you have a pay-up option that's 14% owned right now. In a matchup against the Blazers, who are going to guard him with what exactly?
I just love LeBron, so it's tough.
Oh, so do I. But, who's guarding Anthony Davis on the Blazers?
Melo.
No, he's out.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And they weren't exactly deep at power forward when they signed him.
I know. The whole Melo thing.
Last one.
But wait, the whole Melo thing, by the way, is super weird because are we assuming that it's the result of Kobe Bryant?
I have no idea.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm saying he's not injured. He's away from the team, and there was no real reporting on that, but they were close. So
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
Melo's been in the league since what, 2004?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's known Kobe for probably 20 years.
I know. So anyway, I really like Joval and Clark, but the ownership is it's astronomical. It's crazy. I don't feel like getting to Solomon Hill or Kyle Anderson is a viable alternative. Maybe you do, but when you talk about there just being no upside whatsoever, it's if you get like the Dante Exum type performance from Solomon Hill, don't be surprised and don't be upset about it. Aside from that, Dylan Brooks, he's fine, but he's so scoring dependent that you need like 25 plus real points each day. I think Ja Morant sub 7K in a 241.5 total game, to me, assuming it stays close, which I think it will, could get you 32, 34 minutes. Morant is actually somebody I like today.
Yeah, 20% ownership on DK, 6,900. I think that's all reasonable. Like I'd be okay being around that number. Slow-mo is at 3% on DK and 13 on FanDuel. He did make the contenders today. I think that's a decent piece of value. There's just going to be a lot of minutes there.
That's fair.
I gave him 26. He's like a 0.85, 0.9 guy. Okay.
Much better than Solomon Hill, I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, I would greatly prefer Kyle Anderson to Solomon Hill. Solomon Hill at 16% ownership, by the way. Jay Crowder just sort of exists in this one. He'll be filler. I don't like him. I don't not like him. I'm not wild about 56% Brandon Clark. I think 53% Joval looks way more reasonable.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Ultimately, there's going to be a ton of ownership to this game, and if you can get heavy on the right pieces, I mean, I'm not telling you yet, like, if you can get the guys that play well that aren't owned as much, boy, are you going to be set.
Profound.
Apparently, I'm booger today. $28 for Joval on Yahoo also. Pretty darn tasty. Yeah, I'm going to have probably too much slow-mo. I'm probably going to have a lot more Dylan Brooks than 8% on FanDuel. Joval for 35% ownership at center is right about where I'd want to be. Jokic, Drummond, Whiteside also look pretty good, so I want to make sure that I am getting up there. It's a fun game. Fun game. And on that note, perfect opportunity at the halfway point. Hit that like button. 770 guys in here. I love it. Or ladies. I don't want to be against that. But only 163 likes. And that is just not good enough. Let's get that number over 200 quickly. I would be very appreciative of it. Oh, it's climbing already. You guys are the best. I don't even know how...
Look at it go.
You guys are the best. Hit those thumbs up. It's really helpful. Today, we got a lot going on. Laffy mentioned it earlier. We've got a big NFL Super Bowl preview show coming up at noon. We're going to have a revolving door of guests. I'll be tagging in for non-actual NFL-related things, which is exactly what I should be doing when it comes to football. Link is in the chat right now. We've got some free content today. NBA ownership is free. And NFL Showdown rankings are free, so you want to check those out because they will not be free starting tomorrow. So if you want to get an idea of where the boss man is at for Sunday's Super Bowl, check that out. And then the NHL Live blog, also free. Super Draft projections are free. Jake will have his NHL Strategy show at 4 p.m. The boss man, Alex Baker, will be with Adam for the deeper dive at 5. And then Spags and I from 6 to 7:30, closing out the work week for everybody. Going to be a good one. And you guys should just go to Super Draft right now and sign up if you haven't already, or get into their main contest for today. We'll be pushing that one heavily in that 7 to 7:30 window, that's for sure. Appreciate you guys getting those likes up. 772 concurrent viewers, 233 likes now. See, all you guys needed was a little nudge in the right direction. We're not asking for much here.
That's all.
Yeah, we're not asking.
It does help us out a lot.
It really does. When we can rank highly for DFS searches on YouTube, there is a great benefit to you guys down the line. That keeps us being able to do this.
As someone said in the deeper dive yesterday, why would I like the video if I'm not going to watch it again? Like, hitting thumbs up is only for bookmarking. Yeah. So
they have playlists. You can save them. They actually have this thing that's called Watch Later, which you click on and then you can watch it later. Specifically designed for exactly what you'd like to do. It's craziness. Right. It's amazing that they thought of that. With being the preeminent video software for the past 15 years.
It's crazy.
Amazing they were able to land on Watch Later. I hope that guy got some stock.
Yeah. So much for us coming in at a reasonable hour here.
Oh yeah, 1:15, 3 to go. Milwaukee Bucks, Denver Nuggets. Bucks are 9.5-point favorites at home against Denver. I put Giannis in. Not entirely sure if he's going to play or not today. Just assuming that he is. If he's not, feel free to fire up Chris Middleton and Eric Bledsoe. George Hill, though, definitely not playing. We do not have Giannis in our ownership, but at 11.6 on FanDuel and 11.7 on DraftKings, he is fine. He's Giannis. I'm in for a little bit of Chris Middleton on FanDuel, 7,200. I like Eric Bledsoe, though, quite a bit more than that. 6,100 on FanDuel. I actually have him as my number 2 point guard. I have him in for 29 minutes. Been playing a little bit better as of late. I'd be happy to get there a little bit north of that 16% number. On DraftKings, I have no interest whatsoever in anything from Milwaukee. A little bit slower of a spot. Just not really a good DFS game on DK because of salaries. What do you want to do with the Bucks?
So how do you fit? If you had to guess, do you think Giannis is definitely playing?
No. Definitely? I would not use that word. No, I would say, I don't know, 70-30 in.
Okay, so you're leaning in for sure.
Yeah. It doesn't do me any good to project him out and then be like, oh, I got Chris Middleton in 75% of my lineups.
Right. I mean, him and Westbrook, him and Bledsoe dropped like 170 or 135 combined fantasy points last time out. Something absurd.
Yeah.
Wouldn't expect that to be the case again. But I said it earlier, Giannis being out is like the most impactful player in basketball, pretty much being out of the rotation. So if he's out, I will go right back to Middleton. I will go right back to Bledsoe. I have no issues in doing so. I'll go right back to Ersan Ilyasova. I know he was disappointing last game, but I don't think you'll get only 21 minutes from him again. If Giannis is in, though, I have a whole lot less interest at all. Like, you've got Russell Westbrook, you've got James Harden, you have LeBron James. Lillard dropped 70 plus in 4 straight. You got all of these guys at the top. And then you have Giannis, where you have to pay like a massive premium for. And you've got a Denver team that is playing likely without 3 starters. They're 9.5-point dogs. I don't see myself getting to Giannis, and I don't see myself getting to much at all from Milwaukee if he plays.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. It's just like I can't imagine paying 11.7 for him today.
No, not on this slate. We're not on this slate.
No,
because there's 5 other guys that could give you 70 fantasy points.
Like Brook Lopez is probably the extent of what I would want from the Bucks on DraftKings, and that is not like a lot either.
No, not at all. I wouldn't be surprised if DeAndre Jordan outproduced him, but I think Brook Lopez is a better option than Jordan.
On the Denver side, still no Jamal Murray, still no Paul Millsap. Gary Harris status up in the air for this one.
Personal reasons, so we don't really have a good idea of what's going on there either.
No, not at all. And I think that's it for everybody in that one. Major pace up spot for Denver, although pretty much every game that they play is 9,800 on FanDuel, 9,400 on DraftKings, $45 on Yahoo. I like Jokic quite a bit. He's my 3rd ranked center. He's 14th overall in DK. He made my contender series. He's certainly a guy that I like in the mid 9s. I think this is a pretty good spot for him, although the 107 implied total is a little scary. I'll continue to get to a little bit of Will Barton, although he is only my 7th ranked small forward on FanDuel, so the damage will be minimized here, which means that today's probably the day he goes nuts. And then Monty Morris I have in for 30 minutes. 4,300 on FanDuel I think is a decent value play, although the public is already there at 23% ownership. I don't need Porter or Jeremy Grant, Malik Beasley, any of these guys. I do have Gary Harris in right now, so that could change a little bit, but this is mostly Jokic and Barton for me, to a lesser extent Monty Morris.
Agreed, and it's actually surprising that this totals at 224. Milwaukee just such a pace-up team that you would think it would have a little bit more impact, but Denver very sluggish. 107 implied, 107.3 implied total, 116.8 for the Bucks. Like I said, 9.5-point favorites. I don't know. It's weird because with Plumlee out, Vanderbilt got like 4 minutes yesterday, and those were all backup center minutes. And then Jeremy Grant just played the remaining backup center minutes behind Jokic. But I definitely think you're looking at, and I know it's a second of a back-to-back, but I think you're probably looking at Jokic getting another 34 minutes here, even though they played yesterday. And here's what I would say. I like Jokic for sure. I would put him ahead of Drummond, no question, because similarly priced.
Yes.
But among the guys that are like 9K and up on DraftKings, he's probably like 4th for me.
I would
maybe
say he's 3rd behind LeBron and Harden.
Okay, so I have LeBron, Harden, Westbrook, and then Jokic.
I could go, like, it's pretty close for me between Russ and Jokic. Given Russ's ownership, I could make that lean for sure. But no, I'm a big fan of my boy, Nikola Jokic. If the Sixers offered Embiid for Jokic straight up, would you be okay with that deal?
Probably not.
Okay.
But like, would I be devastated? Nah, but I think Embiid, he needs a different coach. I think you could see he could develop into an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I just don't believe Brett Brown gets the most out of these guys. That's neither here nor there. But by the way, Jokic and the Nuggets are playing their second of a back-to-back on the road, going from Denver to Milwaukee. Do you consider something like that?
Wait, say that again?
Denver's playing their second of a back-to-back on the road, but yesterday was a home game. This one's a road game in Milwaukee. So they're going from Denver to Milwaukee, seeming probably overnight. Do you factor that in?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay.
In my research previously, now this is independent of playing time. The only set of back-to-back that had a legitimate effect on actual performance was away.
Okay.
Everything else was essentially neutral. Home games didn't really matter. Home and homes didn't really matter. Home didn't matter all that much. Now, that says nothing for on the front end of a back-to-back, guys play X amount of minutes. On the back end, they play X minus 1.5 or something.
Right, and
just from a performance standpoint, away was the one where I would take in. I would probably reduce. Not probably. I reduce performance by a percentage point.
Gotcha. He's a husky fella though. 35 minutes last night. Sometimes I worry that, he's still a professional, but whatever. So who are your top plays from the Nuggets?
Nikola Jokic, Will Barton, Monty Morris.
Will Barton's been a train wreck lately, but I get it.
Yeah.
I understand it.
It's just every time I open it up, he's got like 15, 6, and 6.
Oh, it never ends. But recently it's been like 15, 5, and 1.
Wow, that person is a steaming pile of shit. Whew.
What's up?
I don't even want to repeat it. We'll explain it to you after. We're heading to Phoenix. Suns and Thunder. 110.75 implied total for Phoenix. 111.75 for the Thunder. Tight game. Not the best from a DFS perspective. Oklahoma City's defense, fantastic. Devin Booker getting no love. I'm not really interested. DeAndre Ayton getting no love. I have very minor interest on FanDuel, not so much on DraftKings. Kelly Oubre is getting love. He would be the guy that I would be most interested in here, but the public is already there. Ricky Rubio getting a ton of love. 39% owned on FanDuel, 32 on DK. Again, those would be the two spots that I'm interested, but if everybody's already there, then I'm not entirely sure what I'm gaining. Phoenix is a really difficult team to want to roster today.
Yes, they are. By the way, I just saw that name. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
That's
disgusting.
It's like evil. Anyway, I don't have a ton of interest in Phoenix. And I think the OKC Thunder are proving that defensively they are a pretty talented team. And they have made life difficult on opposing teams recently and on the season. And I think it's worth considering. So, sorry, that was a wild thing to say.
Yeah,
it
real
threw
bad.
Me off.
Real bad.
Yeah, and I'm a pretty dark person. I enjoy, that. Anyway, it's just this slate's loaded with talent, chock full of talent. Rubio's 5,900 on DraftKings. He has not played well recently, though. Earlier last night, I thought like Rubio makes a lot of sense, but then I started thinking to myself, I went on the early bird, you kind of go through the process. You go through the process while you're looking at guys and talking about them, and you might change your opinion right there on the spot. The one thing with Rubio is that Devin Booker, and we were waiting for this, has seen the usage increase lately. As a facilitator, you've also seen more of that. That directly takes food out of Rubio's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something we should consider. Someone mentioned in chat, was it Unk? Yeah. Uncle DFS says Booker may go for 70, all-star snub. So yeah, we got the all-star snub narratives, Drummond being one of them, Booker being another.
That Booker
we've seen it happen before. Man. What?
He's playing so well this season.
I think he deserved it, but it's tough in the West. Maybe you're right, Unk. Maybe Booker does rip off a monster game. Ugly matchup, but you could be right here. We could see a huge performance. The all-star snub narrative, and I'm not a narrative guy. Sometimes it feels like it's legit, especially with the guy that is allowed to go out there and jack up 35 shots if he wants.
Oh yeah. And he's going to be looking for it. Dude, 31% usage rate. He's 95th percentile in points per shot attempt. He's got a 83rd percentile effective field goal percentage. He's shooting 37 from 3. I mean, he has just been lethal, and it's not like he's doing that on 18% usage. He's doing that as the focal point of the offense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's not like they're in the dumpster either. I mean, they've been solid.
Right. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's really good.
And no one's going to stop him. Since the start of January, 33% usage, 30% assists, 1.37 fantasy points per minute. And the minutes that he's playing, through the roof. If you get 40 minutes in regulation, you're not surprised by it. Probably plays 38. That's solid, man.
Their offense drops 13.3 points when he is off the floor per 100 possessions.
Wow.
It's a 99th.
How about defense?
99th percentile. They give up 6 more.
Okay, so net positive.
Yeah.
Defensively, Booker's terrible, though.
I can't say terrible, but below average for sure.
I won't argue that.
I reserve terrible for like your Trae Young types, for instance. Which is true. That's 100% true. That has nothing to do with his offensive ability.
I've pointed out the difference on this show in offensive and defensive rating. It's double digits on both.
Yeah. But
defensively, they are, I think, like 13 points per 100 possessions worse, which is insane with him off the floor. Or with him on the floor, they're worse.
Let's slide over to Oklahoma City. No one on FanDuel north of 6% ownership. On DK, Paul at 14. SGA at 15. It's really hard to hash out who's going to do well out of Paul, SGA, Schroeder, Gallo. I would say that I like Schroeder a little bit, unowned at 6K on FanDuel. That probably stands out most to me. I mean, this is, not that kind of game. If I have like 5% of their main four guys, that's cool. But I don't have like a solid recommendation for anything from the Thunder.
Manny C says, I went on Twitch Sunday because YouTube was down to watch an Awesemo vid. It was a madhouse with disrespectful people saying Twitch was their turf. I don't know why. I don't know why that made me laugh.
I don't even know what that means.
Me neither, but we're glad to have you here wherever you watch, Manny. You're welcome. Okay, what were you saying? Did you say you have guys from OKC that you're high on?
Not really.
No, I think on DraftKings, like SGA and Chris Paul are all reasonably priced, so I wouldn't talk anybody off of them. Adams is 4,900, which at least makes it a little bit interesting. Is he at a price where he's cheap enough now to consider him? I'd say yes, but I'm still not enthusiastic about Steven Adams at all.
No.
This game in general is actually pretty ugly on both sides. Even though, it's a 1-point spread, it should be competitive. You could see some big performances. Booker, I think, just all around would be my top guy. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing anything else from this one.
Not that game,
Yeah, I think that's probably it, man. Rubio 5,900, interesting, but I'm worried that he's just not going to even touch the ball today.
Not out of the realm of possibility. One game to go, kind of a big one. 790 people in here, 291 likes. I'm going to give out one last call to hit that thumbs up. It helps us out tremendously. Los Angeles Lakers, Portland Trailblazers. Lakers are 12-point favorites at home. They have a 121.25 implied total, which is the third highest for the slate. AD questionable. Somebody else might be as well. I have everybody in for right now. Portland's going to be without Carmelo Anthony. On FanDuel, it's two guys, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. LeBron picking up 30% ownership, AD at 14. I like me some AD at 14% if he is in. This is a fantastic spot, slight pace up spot. Portland's defense is bad. Sign me up. LeBron for 10-3 on DraftKings at 40% ownership makes perfect sense to me. But we've also got AD at 19. Kyle Kuzma at 15% ownership where he's 3,900. Keep an eye on that one if Anthony Davis is out. And Rondo at 22% ownership at 3,600, which I could not want less of. Like, no thank you at all.
I can't believe I'm mentioning multiple narratives in the same day, but LeBron might drop 60 real points tonight.
Wouldn't be crazy at all.
Like, it might happen. And it might happen. So here's the thing, even if there was no narrative attached to this performance, this game at all, the game has a 230 over under.
Yeah.
Yes, the Lakers are big favorites, but they have a 120.3 implied total. Let's keep something in mind. When the Lakers are 121.3, when the Lakers blow teams out, okay, you know exactly who's doing it.
Jared Dudley
and Alex Caruso. You know exactly who it's going to be. It's going to be LeBron. It's going to be Anthony Davis, with a few, stray baseline spot up threes from Danny Green and Avery Bradley. You know where it's going to come from. Simple as that.
Yep.
I love LeBron James today.
Yep.
I think Anthony Davis is solid if he plays. Once again, not a priority because I love LeBron. I love Harden. I really like Westbrook. There's a lot here, but I do like Davis. I just really like LeBron. Like you said, if Davis sits, then Kuzma comes into play as a top option.
To whoever is mentioning that Melo might not be out today, he is listed as out on the NBA's official injury report. So I'm going to assume that is the information I should look at and not a red X from DraftKings or wherever you're pulling that information from.
He's officially listed as out. Yeah.
Yes.
That news about him not being officially ruled out is from yesterday.
Yeah. He is out. He is out. Yeah. So it's LeBron and AD for me. Kuzma can certainly sneak into value territory if AD ends up out. Do not play 22% owned Rajon Rondo.
That's absurd ownership. I mentioned him last night because I thought he'd be unowned.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. No thanks. Kawhi was officially in last night until after lock. Okay, well then, no, we should never look at the injury report. What are we doing here?
Yeah, that's like a very rare situation.
I don't. Portland Trailblazers. Explain this one to me. Damian Lillard is 10-1 on FanDuel, 9,900 on DraftKings, 3% owned.
Because of the price, but I mean, dude, his last 4 games, I get it, just a few games, sure, and McCollum had missed a couple of those, but fantasy points on DraftKings 92, 70, 84, and 70. I don't like reading that off, but you have to when it's something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just absurd. Sheer dominance is what we've seen from Damian Lillard recently.
1.38 FanDuel points per minute over his last 30 days.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like 9,900. There's another reason why, like on DraftKings, where you have MP, where Andre Drummond to me is just, super unappealing, and Nikola Jokic and Anthony Davis on some slates would be like stellar plays. To me, they're just good plays today. I don't know what to do with Damian Lillard, but he's just been so good. Here's the thing. I think one interesting approach could be you go LeBron and Dame in the same lineups, because if this game stays close, it's going to be because Damian Lillard rips off another 50-point game. And if it doesn't stay close, well, both of those guys probably don't hit what you need them to get anyway.
For sure. Hassan Whiteside, 8% owned on FanDuel, 1% owned on DraftKings. I had him in my top 10 today. He's my number 2 center on FanDuel. I am going to have much more than 8% on FanDuel. Okay.
That's interesting to me. I like him. More so looking at DraftKings. The low ownership is appealing. But
on DK, I would have, I don't know, 10% or so. Nothing crazy.
That's pretty much where I would assume I come in at. But no problem with Whiteside. I'm not prioritizing him on DraftKings. CJ McCollum, 6,400. Again, this is one of these games. They're 13-point dogs. I like the idea. People were talking in chat about game stacks. Game stacks aren't always necessary. Most times they're not. But this does feel like one of those spots where if it stays close, you see like 250 total points in regulation, and Lillard has a monster game. Whiteside, McCollum, not all of them, but someone's going to have to keep it competitive, which means that you probably get the monster LeBron or Davis or both game and a couple of huge performances from the Portland side. Could be a really good game to get back and forth.
21% ownership on CJ McCollum. That seems to be the place that people are going from the DK side. But yeah, if this game stays close, you know where it's coming from. That's right. For sure. Any interest in Trevor Ariza? 4,300 on FanDuel. Probably going to play as many minutes as he possibly can. He's only at 12% ownership. I'd like to be higher than that.
Yeah, it's Trevor Ariza. I'm fine with it. Get him at a low price, not particularly high ownership. I don't have any issues getting there at all. So I was just looking at Carmelo Anthony on and off the floor. Lillard is 1.44 DraftKings points per minute without him. 1.31 with him, 28.7% usage with him, and 31.5 without him. So nice little boost for Lillard with no Melo too.
Yeah, as expected. Let's sum it up. Favorite plays on DraftKings for you today?
Okay, LeBron, Harden, and Westbrook. I don't want them in the same lineup, but I really like both of them. Jalen Brunson. Pretty obvious one there. I I like Lillard, but this is the problem. And I said it the whole show. I keep rattling off these high priced guys. I feel like I love all of them today, not named Andre Drummond. And then Clark and Joval, if you're just talking about like cash games, really like both of them. I have no problem putting him in the same lineup either.
All righty. FanDuel for
me. And before you do yours, Monday, let's give away a number of those awesome egg and ketchup and eggs t-shirts. And
okay.
there's a long sleeve t-shirt too.
Ooh, okay.
We'll let you pick your color. Let us know your address, pick your color, long sleeve, short sleeve. And we'll think of something worthy of doing the giveaway, and we'll do it on Monday morning.
That works for me.
Cool.
Point guard today, Jalen Brunson is the obvious piece. After that, I'll do a little bit of Eric Bledsoe, a little bit of Monty Morris. Feels like a spot where I'm going to pay down a little bit. Although if Dame Lillard and Russell Westbrook are 2% owned, that might change my tune. James Harden, Zach LaVine, slow-mo Kyle Anderson at 3,600, looking like my shooting guards. At small forward, we're talking Tim Hardaway Jr., Trevor Ariza, LeBron James. Power forward, Serge Ibaka, Thad Young, Kristaps Porzingis. And then at center, Joval, Hassan Whiteside, Nikola Jokic.
Love it.
All right, guys, here's the deal. We are going to be done for about 45 minutes, and then we're coming back like gangbusters. Probably 2 hours of NFL Super Bowl coverage, props, DFS breakdowns. We're bringing in people left and right. It's going to be tons of stuff going on. Tune into that. The normal shows are coming up later tonight. Lofty, do you have anything else?
We'll see you in 45 minutes.
There you go, guys. Best of luck tonight. We'll talk to you later.